So one thing that I guess I'm pretty good at is Photoshop. So I'm going to give a little tutorial on how to do a quick edit in Photoshop. So first you're going to open up the Photoshop app, of course. It's Adobe, and you got to have an Adobe subscription. But that's besides the point. So I'm going to guess you already have an Adobe subscription. So you're going to go File, New, and open up a file. A lot of social media posts, they're posted in 1080 by 1080 pixels, so that's what I always use. So you're going to come to a blank screen, and basically you have creative freedom. You don't know what you really want to do, so you just go to the internet and you look up some ideas. So as I went to the Winful website, I was just looking around, and boom, cross country. So I decided that I was going to do a cross country edit. So I just typed in some cross country pictures, just to get some inspiration and maybe find a picture to use. So I basically just searched for forever, finally found one, and I copied and pasted it into the app. So next I'm gonna perspective warp. When you perspective warp, free transform, not perspective. Free transform, you basically select everything just to make it a little bit bigger, make it fit the screen. So I did that, so I wouldn't have any extra white. So after that, you really don't know what to do, so I decided, hey, let's add some text. Cross country. Of course, you're gonna have to go through the process of, putting some titles on there and doing some different size fonts. And a lot of Photoshop is just messing around and playing with it and just trying to figure out what you like. Again, just typing in random numbers and trying to figure out a perfect size for your text. So I finally found a perfect size right here at 125. Initially, I wanted to put cross country in the middle of this, but as I went on and got some inspiration, I decided to go against that. But because I decided, let's go the next step. Instead of just saying cross country, let's do add a few layers to it and do a brick wall. And I got a little bit excited right there with the capital letters, but nevertheless, I got to the brick wall. And basically, it's just when I add stuff like this, it just puts an elevation to the project. It makes it pop a little bit more. It's not just a picture with some words on it. It's something with a background. And sometimes that free transform tool is kind of a ball. But I finally figured it out. Basically, you're going to put the brick wall below the regular picture, and then you're going to go to, I don't know what the technical term for what this is, but I'm about to show you. But it's where you choose sort of how your picture that's on top reacts to what's below it. So there's a lot of different options. So I go through a lot of different options right there, blah, 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 blah. And I finally picked one that I like, which is called, I believe, Light and Color. And I went back and forth trying to decide what I want. But I finally figured it out. And then I decided, it really does not pop well enough. So I'm going to change my black text to white text. And I did that by double left clicking and then changing the color to white and then putting an outline on it. And so that makes it pop a little bit more. I decided I wanted to move it up to blue because then I got the bright idea to make this a quote. So then I just went to the internet and got more inspiration off the internet, just using cross-country quotes. Originally I said cross-country quotes including a brick wall, but then I decided probably not a common theme. So I just decided to look at some cross-country quotes. Finally found a quote that I really liked. It's kind of funny. Running is a mental sport, and we are all insane. So I went from there, and I basically did the same thing over the next few minutes, and just trying to decide what looks the best. And like I said, cross-country Photoshop is just a lot of playing around and deciding, what's the best fit for your edit. And sometimes that includes changing the font, sometimes it includes changing the spacing of your title and your text. And you know, that's just something you gotta play around with and figure out. So that's what I did for the next few minutes. Until I finally decided that is what I liked. Next up, I didn't want to mess up my title anymore, so I just decided that I'll convert it to a smart object, and I select all of the layers right here, and I click select to, or convert to a smart object, and that way I can move around the title and give it a correct position on the center of the page before finishing up. Now, in order to finish up, I had to go to File and click Save As. And you always want to save your graphics and edits as a JPEG, just because that's going to be the easiest to transfer to places. And then I rename it Cross Country. I forgot what I renamed it, but Cross Country Project Quote. I can't really see that far. I know it's on the computer screen, but I can't see that far. And so then I decide where I want to save it. I save it to my desktop, click Save. I put it on, save it as a quality of 12, because that's going to be the best quality. I'm never going to come back to this Photoshop, so I just go ahead and click Don't Save. You will lose all your progress on the Photoshop, on that specific Photoshop, but you know, again, never going to come back to it. So usually what I do is I have a separate folder for all my graphic designs. I just drag my cross-country file over to my graphics design, drop it in there, and then I can airdrop it from there. So that is my basic process of Photoshop. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And then, you know, once you do it for a year or so, you're pretty easy and pretty solid on doing Photoshop technique. Thanks for watching, and happy Photoshopping.